New data from Moderna shows its booster shot provides protection for up to 6 months against the Omicron variant. The study published today in the New England Journal of Medicine.
Meanwhile, researchers at Pfizer are working on a vaccine that specifically targets the variant. Daryl Forges looks into the new strategy to end the pandemic.
Positive COVID-19 case numbers trending down in some states. According to Johns Hopkins University, the U.S. is averaging over 639,000 new cases per day. That's a 14% decrease over last week.
We're 2 years into this pandemic, and people, I think, are feeling rightly exhausted by all of this.
Now, some health experts believe it's time for a change in strategy against the pandemic.
We need a new strategy moving forward, and that strategy does not have us in emergency mode all the time.
On Wednesday, the Biden administration outlined plans for the future of living with COVID-19 without disruptions to normal life.
And we continue to move toward a time when COVID won't disrupt our daily lives, a time when COVID is no longer a crisis, but rather something we protect against and treat.
Scientists are working to develop a universal or pan-coronavirus vaccine that offers protection against any type of coronavirus, including variants that cause COVID-19.
Obviously, innovative approaches are needed to induce broad and durable protection against coronaviruses that are known and some that are even at this point unknown. Hence, the terminology pan-coronavirus vaccine.
As to how long it could take to develop this new vaccine,
it's going to take years to develop in an incremental fashion.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Kansas state lawmakers are considering a bill allowing doctors to prescribe a controversial treatment. The bill would allow doctors to prescribe ivermectin to treat COVID without facing disciplinary action. The drug typically used to treat or prevent parasites in animals. It has not been authorized to treat COVID patients. Local doctors say the bill would have severe consequences.
Unfortunately, people listen to all sorts of made-up news, and then now we're having to reward made-up news with writing a prescription that could easily be disruptive or harmful to somebody, and a pharmacist must fill it. This is a unwelcome, unsafe intrusion into the practice of medicine. At some level, we have to get back to common sense and reality.
Kansas State Rep Mark Steffen, Republican of Hutchinson, is backing the bill. He is also a doctor. But during today's hearing, he said he's under investigation by the state board that licenses medical professionals. Steffen says the board investigation is a threat. On the board's website, his license is listed as current and no board actions are shown.
We continue to see COVID-related school closures. We told you Park Hill is canceling class tomorrow and Friday due to a staffing shortage. So many people are out sick. Virtual learning days are not possible. Doctors at Children's Mercy hope that districts use all the tools necessary to keep their buildings open.
This is the third school year that kids have had some disruption related to COVID-19, and I think the best thing we can do is put all the mitigation measures in place to disrupt their learning and their growth and development as minimally as possible.
Children's Mercy is also affected by a staffing shortage. Right now, 245 hospital employees are sick and isolating at home. Researchers in Missouri may have found a key to treating people with long-haul COVID symptoms. KMBC 9's Matt Evans breaks down this new study.
I was a very healthy person. I was a marathon runner. My life will never be the same.
Larissa McPherson first caught COVID in February of 2020.
I have probably permanent hearing loss, and there's a good chance that I might have a hearing aid at some point in time.
She's still dealing with the effects of the virus nearly 2 years later. She's one of the millions of Americans that are long haulers, which could continue to strain our healthcare systems long after the Omicron wave.
So that if you have 1 million people get COVID, you're going to have more deaths, more hospitalizations, more long COVID. It's just one of those things of, as the disease continues to spread, we're going to be constantly running that risk.
But there is new hope in the form of a study just published in the International Journal of Infectious Diseases.
It can have so much impact on the body in so many different ways.
Dr. Leonard Weinstock at Missouri Baptist Medical Center in St. Louis led the research that discovered the symptoms of long haulers were exactly the same as those with a common illness called mast cell activation syndrome, which can be treated by readily available medication.
And in light of the fact that most of the treatments are over the counter, I think this is a big boon to the patients who have long COVID.
Which gives doctors and those suffering from long COVID hope. Matt Evans, KBC 9 News.
There are several trials happening right now and more in the works. Doctors are using mast cell activation syndrome drugs to treat long COVID. If you want to sign up for one, go to clinictrials.gov.
We continue tracking local COVID hospitalization rates. Missouri is reporting 3,800 people sick enough to be in a hospital with COVID. The Kansas rolling average is at 1,300 people. These numbers are up 15% in the last 2 weeks.